Live, we're there for you. Good Morning Utah at 6:30 starts now.
Good morning, Utah. I'm Brian Carlson.
And I'm Courtney Johns, in for Jillian Smuckler. It is 6:30 on this Friday morning.
And we begin with an ABC4 News exclusive. We're now hearing from two people who got pepper sprayed outside a Winco grocery store in Midvale. This is what it looked like. Dakota Hallman and her fiancé Tanner Mangelson say they had just finished grocery shopping with their 9-month-old baby when a woman they didn't know started yelling at them from across the parking lot. And they have no idea why. They say the woman drove towards them in her car and pepper sprayed both of them in the face.
It burns really bad, but it lasts forever, and you can't take a shower to shower it off because it feels like it's just blistering and burning.
Now, Unified Police are still searching for that woman. You see her driving in her silver SUV. So if you know who she is, call police at the number on your screen.
And in politics this morning, Utah Governor Spencer Cox is sharing his thoughts on gun reform. At his monthly press conference yesterday, Cox gave the state a glimpse of possible reforms right here in Utah. This press conference comes less than a month after the mass shooting in Uvalde, Texas, amid growing pressures for politicians to address gun violence. ABC4's Ali Aurelian joins us live from the Capitol. Ali, what is the governor saying about all of this?
Well, Governor Cox says that he's wanting to wait for proposed federal legislation before doing anything on the state level. He says it starts with an open and honest conversation with one another. The school shooting in Uvalde, Texas sparked widespread debates and heated arguments. Cox says he supports the idea that gun locks should be mandatory when someone buys a firearm. Cox tells ABC4 he has empathy towards the victims and families, and it's only a matter of time before a school shooting happens in our state. He says the idea for gun reform is to make sure it doesn't impact someone's Second Amendment right.
I have a hard time listening to anybody who says it's only about guns, but I also have a hard time listening to anybody who says it's never about guns at all.
When it comes to school safety, Cox says millions of dollars have gone towards school security. He says in the last 5 to 10 years, most schools in the state have upgraded their safety plans and added preventative measures. Governor Cox says gun education needs to be better and gun owners need to be held more responsible. Reporting live in Salt Lake City, I'm Ali Aurelian, ABC4 News.
All right, thank you, Ali. Here this morning, South Salt Lake police are looking for a dangerous fugitive out of Ohio. Police are looking for 32-year-old Kyle Anthony Dembowski. He's wanted in Cleveland for robbery, child neglect, drugs, and stealing a gun. Police say he was last seen in South Salt Lake and believe he likely is staying in motels there or in Salt Lake City. And they warn he's violent and likely armed. So if you see him, call police at the number on your screen.
In Weber County, a woman knocked off her paddleboard during a storm at Pineview Reservoir is lucky to be alive. Weber County Sheriff's Office says the woman's friend called them after he lost sight of her Wednesday night. Marine Patrol found her barely hanging onto that paddleboard. They say she was not wearing a life jacket and not dressed for the weather, and she had to be treated for hypothermia. The Sheriff's Office is reminding everyone to check the weather and wear a life jacket before heading out on the water. Just another reason to have that ABC4 weather app.
And that indeed is. Let's take a look at our weather right now with ABC4 forecaster Bob Bedore in for Thomas again today. And boy, we're in for a hot one out there today, Bob.
Yeah, going to be a hot one, and he gave some good advice. Check the weather. Always check the weather, because we've got a lot of it going on today. You can see St. George, clouds are moving by. That's the southerly flow that we've got. It's going to be causing, well, it's got a lot of heat because the warm weather coming from the south, but it's also going to be causing a lot of trouble. We're going to be going through that somewhat, but you'll see there it is, the clouds. You can see them moving straight from the south up to the north, and it's going to be that way for the next couple of days as that wind is going to be with us. Park City looking really nice, but look how cloud coverage that is. It's a great picture, but it starts to get a little ominous looking at all that. This is what we have to watch out for. This heat, first of all, we're going to be in the hundreds for a lot of the state. So if you don't like heat, this is going to be a bad day for you. But watch this wind. You would think the wind, that'll cool things off. No, it's just going to be blowing dust. It's going to be making it hard to see. It's going to be hazy. It's going to be increasing the fire watch that we have to go through. So we have to keep an eye on that. Thunderstorms along the eastern side of the state. So that we've got all kinds of things to watch out out for there. So let's just look at these threats that we have for southern and eastern Utah. A high heat warning, we know that. Fire danger, it's going to be extreme, and that's most of the state. We got the winds, the whipping winds going to be blowing dust around, that's extreme, and we got a chance for flash floods. I'll be going through all of that in my extended forecast in about 10 minutes, but if you're going to be walking your doggy today, make sure you do it early because it's going to get really hot. By noon, we will already be at 91. We're going to be looking at 101 for a high in Salt Lake City with a wind, 45-mile-an-hour possible winds, 50-mile-an-hour winds possible in St. George. We're looking at 104. And driving conditions, we just had one little accident pop up. I'll go take a look at that, see what's going on. But the rest of it's looking really good. Watch out, though, later, because we're going to see windy conditions. We want you to be driving safe. And if you are making your way trying to travel right now between Park City and Salt Lake and Park City, 31 minutes is what you're expected. Give yourself extra time. Please drive safe.
I will do. Thank you, Bob. A man in Layton is in desperate need of a kidney transplant. He's 25-year-old Hayden Brown. His family says he lost his first kidney at just 4 years old. His condition has been a concern. Then fast forward to the beginning of the pandemic and his health began to fail. The family now says he needs a donor in the next 3 to 5 months, and they're willing and asking anyone who wants to help to donate.
You never know whether or not you can be a donor for someone. And so it's not, I don't think that you can't try it. To fill everything out takes not even 5 minutes.
Now the family is turning to social media to share Hayden's story, hoping they can find a match.
Many will be celebrating Dad this weekend on Father's Day, and there's a new media campaign showcasing dads and their commitment to kids.
I tell my son, I love you every single day.
Now, despite that, research shows fathers are less likely than mothers to say they're doing a good job raising their kids. A new documentary called Dedication is looking to change the conversation, and one of the dads featured in the documentary is joining us this morning. Joining us live via Zoom is Kenneth Braswell. He's the CEO of Fathers Incorporated and director of the National Responsible Fatherhood Clearinghouse. Thank you so much for joining us, Kenneth.
Good morning. I can see you talking to me, but I think they have me on mute, and so you may not hear me.
Oh, I can hear you perfectly there.
I can't hear you.
Perfect. Well, tell us a little bit about this new documentary.
Oh, thank you so much. We are excited about Dedication. This has been something we've wanted to do a long time as a result of the National Responsible Fatherhood Clearinghouse. You know, the conversation around fatherhood could be so narrow sometimes, and you know, we can kind of look at what we believe are the things that are negative as it relates to fatherhood, and then sometimes we can look at the things that are positive towards fatherhood. But what we wanted to do was to begin to open up the funnel a little bit and to begin to give everyone some insight into the challenges that our dads go through each and every day in trying to be the best dads they can be. And so I'll look at forefathers across a diversity and range of fathers across the country to begin to give you an insight with dads who are struggling with being fatherless themselves, also struggling with addictions and depression and all those kinds of things that we want people to know that as we continue to try to serve and support dads, we also want you to have some insight into some of the challenges they face as well.
You know, you're talking a little bit about the challenges, and I know I can imagine it's tough to talk about among fathers. What are some ways that we can support fathers?
You know, I often tell people when it comes to, particularly and in general, men, the better you can hear between the lines of a man, the better you can be empathetic of what he's feeling. And one of the reasons that I say that is because oftentimes we don't have the language to express our emotions. We don't have the language sometimes to express what we're feeling. And sometimes we can't make the connection between what we're feeling and our responsibilities. And so I think number one is just having an ear to listen without judgment. And then the second thing is just being available to them, not always being, you know, judgmental on who they are and how they're measuring up to your expectations of them, but just giving them affirmation, letting them know that they're necessary, that they're wanted, and that they're needed in the lives of not only their children, but their families.
Kenneth Braswell, thank you so much for joining us and talking about this very important topic. We'll have more information on our website, abc4.com.
Thank you so much.
All right, 6:40 is the time. Coming up on GMU, a pilot of a small plane crashes into a lake in Texas. Find out how a paddleboarder came to that pilot's rescue. Plus, going back to the future. Learn the record this classic movie just set on the auction block. But first, here's your first look at Good Morning America.
In this morning's GMA First Look, crypto crash. The largest cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. Back in January, one Bitcoin would have cost you more than $47,000. But today, it's worth less than half of that, plunging by a staggering 25% in just the last week. One of the largest crypto lenders, Celsius Networks, freezing customer withdrawals.
It's going to hurt us a lot if we don't see that money.
But crypto is unregulated and lacking the legal protections built into banks, making it a volatile and unpredictable way to invest.
The smart way to invest is going to be your 401k or, a index fund or a mutual fund.
And it's not just the crypto market struggling. Coming up at 7 a.m., we'll have what you need to know to deal with rising interest rates and falling stock prices. With your GMA First Look, I'm Rebecca Jarvis, ABC News, New York.
Time now for your weather on the 4s.
Now 6:44, time for your weather on the 4s with ABC4 forecaster Bob Bador in for Thomas Gieboy. Bob, I know we've got Father's Day weekend. Weather not looking the greatest, but at least maybe it will get them out of doing yard work.
It could possibly be that if you're looking for that silver lining. But it's going to be a lot of weather, so we got a lot we got to go through. But I'm going to take just a little moment of zen and just look at this. This is the Red Cliffs Lodge at Moab there. Look at the Colorado River, just golden under that sun there. But the temperature going to be playing a lot of well, going to be playing with a lot of people's plans. High heat is back. We're going to be making the century mark in a lot of cities throughout Utah today, from north to south. So going to be watching for that. We've got winds all over. Winds are going to be very powerful, 50, 60-mile-an-hour winds all along the western part of our state. So we've got warnings posted for, well, you'll see how many warnings got posted in a little bit. One of them, obviously, some thunderstorm potential ahead. So there's a lot going on. Let's take a look at what's going on in our state. But you can see Oak City looking beautiful right now. Going to be very windy, though, around there coming up in just a few hours. Temperatures looking really good as we're at 75 through a good part of our state. In the 70s, Moab already at 83, Lake Powell at 83, St. George 78. So we're going to be warm. It's going to get very hot. But let's take a look at this futurecast. Looking pretty calm in the morning, but wow, look at that. By the time we get to noon, that's all wind, and that's a lot of wind, a lot of high wind coming through on the west. And then look on the east. We've got moisture coming through all the way along the eastern side. That southerly wind blowing up wind. It's blowing up the moisture. It's doing a lot. It's going to continue on by the time we get to about 5 o'clock, time you're driving. Look how much wind is going to be buffering around there, so be careful. A lot of blowing dust. There's going to be hazy conditions. Visibility be bad. High-profile vehicles are going to be rocking, so just be careful while you're out there. That'll continue on Saturday. You'll see more of that moisture coming through. We'll see some possible showers through a lot of the state, isolated throughout most of it by 7 o'clock. Still there, so hopefully not going to be messing up Garth Brooks and his concert. And even Sunday, we're going to be seeing some showers around, so be careful out there. It's going to be a very crazy little day, a little weekend that we've got. Let's take a look at these warnings, though. Wind alerts. It's going to be all along that, like I said, that western part of the state. That is from 10 a.m. till 10 p.m. tomorrow. And then if we move a little bit east, we're going to see those alerts. Those are from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. tonight. So those will be clearing up a little bit, but watch out along the western side. Looking at this wind, you can see by noon it pops up pretty quick, where we're already seeing some 50-mile-an-hour winds. Gets even more as the temperature rises. And then Saturday, cooled and then warm. It heats up again. And then you can see that we've got it just continuing on. Even Sunday, we'll see some along our southeastern corner. So that means we've got fire alerts. Almost the entire state lit up red with red flag warnings. Watch out for that, anything you're doing. We got thunderstorm outlook going along the western side of the state. And our national parks, we got flash flood potentials. So there's a lot going on. If you're going to be out there, please be careful. You don't want to be caught in a flash flood. Warm temperatures throughout the state. Like I said, century mark through a lot of it. We've got St. George looking at 104. And if we extend St. George out, you can see that they are going to be looking nice, calming down a little bit, and then back up Wednesday, Thursday. They'll be back in the century mark. Wasatch Front, you can see it Friday, Saturday, Sunday, chances of some isolated showers, cooling down and then warming back up as we get to next week. Driving, though, right now, things are looking fairly good. Just a couple little accidents that we've had. They're off to the side, not affecting too much in your way of travel. So keep that up. Watch out for it later, but if you're going along Bangor or either way you're going, looking really good. So please drive safe. And if you want more of our news, well, who wouldn't want that? We'll go to CW 30, 7 a.m. We'll have another hour with Courtney, Brian, and myself. Again, CW, 7 a.m., more of us.
Thank you, Bob. Moving on to your national news, a pilot in a small plane crashed into a lake in Texas, and a paddleboarder came to their rescue. Yesterday, that small two-seater Vespa-style plane crashed into a lake near Austin. According to one online report, the paddleboarder yelled to a nearby bystander who then rushed into the water to save him. First responders then took the pilot to a nearby hospital with serious injuries. Right now, it's unclear what caused the crash.
New photos released by Montana National Guard showed the dramatic rescues from catastrophic flooding at Yellowstone. The Montana National Guard rescued 87 people from small towns and campsites affected by those floods. They say their soldiers manned road checkpoints near Red Lodge, Montana, and a gateway town near the park's northern end. They also set up a command center there to help coordinate search and rescue operations. And in politics, Senator Mitt Romney is accusing the White House of recklessly spending COVID-19 relief money. During a hearing with top lawmakers, Romney accused the Biden administration of not being transparent on how COVID funds were being spent. Senator Romney says in March, the White House claimed there wasn't enough money to buy COVID-19 treatment. So to help, Romney spearheaded a COVID bill asking for $10 billion. But he says he later found out the money wasn't there.
Yeah, I didn't realize that they weren't needed. I wouldn't have worked as hard with Leader Schumer and with others over many weeks and intensive negotiations and gone to my colleagues and told them these monies were necessary.
The Assistant Secretary for Health and Human Services says they've worked hard to be transparent in their spending and had to redirect funds to get the money needed in COVID response.
In Utah County, deputies arrest a Spanish Fork man accused of ramming 2 patrol cars trying to escape arrest. The Utah County Sheriff's Office says 29-year-old Chad Llewellyn was driving an I-15 near the point of the mountain when detectives spotted him and discovered Llewellyn had a warrant for violating parole. When deputies approached him at a gas station, they say he rammed into 2 of their cars. They eventually pulled him out of his car and discovered he had drugs on him. He was booked into the Utah County Jail on several felony charges. And then in Salt Lake City, police at the University of Utah are warning students a reported stalker there at the U has now been released from jail. 40-year-old Anatai Umoran is accused of stalking and harassing several women. Police arrested him last week and permanently banned him from campus. However, yesterday, the Salt Lake County Jail notified campus police he's now been released, and they want people to keep an eye out for him.
He is being released. He's not to be here, and we have issued a campus ban for him, so he is aware of that. But if he does happen to show up, we just wanted that familiarity for our community. Hey, if you see him, call, and we will come deal with it right away.
Now, police say Umoran uses different names and avoids telling people how old he is. He is a registered sex offender and has a history of not allegedly following Utah's sex offender law.
Tracking our wildfire season, nearly 700 firefighters are battling a blaze near Navajo Nation borders in Arizona. Arizona fire crews say the pipeline and haywire fires combined are burning more than 25,000 acres, forcing 2,200 people to evacuate from the Flagstaff area. On top of all of this, crews say there will likely be extensive flooding in this area because of how many plants burned. The pipeline fire is just over 30% contained.
And in an update, we're now hearing from the owner of a popular water park in Draper that briefly shut down for a fire. The owner of Cowabunga Bay says he's happy they've now reopened again. He says they've repaired the damage from that fire that broke out at one of their buildings, and they're ready for people to come back. He shared how they first found out about the fire.
At first, I just thought, oh, maybe this was a false alarm. And then we received another call from the Draper Police Department saying, hey, Dave, this is on fire. The smoke is coming. So, of course, my heart dropped.
Now, right now, it's unclear what caused the fire, but the fire marshal doesn't expect foul play. And in a traffic alert, country music legend Garth Brooks is coming to Rice-Eccles Stadium this weekend, and you can expect a lot of friends in low places around downtown Salt Lake. Both UDOT and UTA say you should plan ahead for a rodeo of traffic both tonight and tomorrow. They expect heavy traffic on streets like Foothill Drive, 4th South, 5th South, and then I-80 there in the eastern half of Salt Lake County. So to make sure you're not standing outside the fire, you can also ride for free on UTA all day of the concerts. For more information, just visit rideuta.com/Garth.
Definitely going to be a lot of traffic with that concert. A lot of people out there.
They love their Garth Brooks in Utah.
They sure do.
Everyone loves Garth Brooks. Doesn't matter even what style of music you like. He just transcends everything.
It's going to be a hot time there.
Hopefully the weather will be okay, because I want Garth to be able to have that party, wear his pajamas if he wants to, or whatever.
That's what he said he was going to do.
I know. That's what I'm hoping he's able to do it. I hope he doesn't have to wear a raincoat on Saturday. But, you know, I can't control the weather. I just have to be the messenger. So,
although we wish you could.
Yeah, I know. I wish I could control this. Look at it, beautiful right now outside Utah Lake. That's good. But you can see a little bit of ripples already. The wind starting to play effect on what's going on in Utah. You can see for the next couple of days, we're going to see this southerly flow. You can already see that on our radar. Those clouds moving from south to north completely. Well, we are going to have a very kind of wild weekend ahead. Looking beautiful outside Alta right now, though. But temperatures also looking really good. 60s, 70s through most of the state. 83 even down there at Lake Powell. But look at this along the eastern side. You got this wind. It's going to be blowing today. Should be pretty good for the concert. I mean, it's going to be a little warm. We're going to see 100-degree temperature. But then this thunderstorm stuff that's coming along the eastern side could play a little havoc as we get into Saturday. So we'll be watching that very closely for you and letting you know what you should do. But looking at your day already, by the time we get to noon, it's going to be 91 degrees, and it's going to be getting to 101 tonight. So be ready out there for Garth. 104 in St. George. Going to be windy, so that's the stuff to consider. But driving wise, we're just trying to keep track of these couple little accidents we have right now, not slowing us down too much. But you should be able to drive safe, and if you're making your way right now, Salt Lake to Twilla, Twilla to Salt Lake, just over 30 minutes. Give yourself extra time. Drive safe today and enjoy the concert tonight.
I'm ready for it. Let's do it. All right, it is baby birthday time, and we have a special birthday to celebrate. This is Zayden Cruz from West Haven. He's turning 5 tomorrow. His grandmother tells us Zayden is a happy little boy, and this is the best part. He says hi to everyone. So, hello, Zayden.
Hello, Zayden.
Zayden, hi.
And he starts kindergarten this August at Bridge Elementary in Roy. He's the best big brother to Bryson and Dominic, and he's the best little boy to have around, and they love him so much. So great to see Zayden get a shout out. And don't forget, we want to see your baby pictures. We want to celebrate the birthday of your kids, grandkids. So if you send us a photo, we're going to share it on TV. Email that photo to news@abc4.com. Tell us their name, how old they are, and anything else you'd like to share about them.
Happy birthday to you, Zayden.
Yeah.
All right, how much would you pay for your own vintage version of your favorite movie?
It depends on what format it's in.
All right, well, we're going back to the future here this morning. An auction house in New York just sold the special VHS copy of Back to the Future for a record $75,000.
I don't even have $75 to spend on a VHS. You got $75,000.
Yeah, great Scott. I guess you guys weren't ready for that yet.
Yeah, I was ready for it.
Now, what makes this copy so special, it's in near mint condition. Now, you may be asking yourself, who owned it? Eastwood?
Right.
Clint Eastwood? Nope, the tape belonged to actor Tom Wilson, better known as Biff Tannen. This is heavy.
It should have sold for $88,000. I'm just saying.
That would have been pretty perfect.
1.21 million.
Oh, there you go.
Or gigawatts.
Sold to Brian Carlson.
Thanks for making us part of your morning.
Next.